It's the 24th of March 2026, and it's a Tuesday night here in New Zealand as I am recording this. Sorry for the pause. There was just a car in front of me that turned on its hazard lights. I don't know why. It doesn't seem to be stopping, but as you guessed it, I am driving on my way to work again. And sorry for the distraction. I just passed the car that was turning on its hazard lights. Now I can go back to the slow lane because my goal is to drive between 80 to 90 kilometers per hour like I mentioned yesterday. So it's day 2 of my dumbphone challenge and quiet quitting bad news online. As it stands, I don't have any new news, sorry for the pun, regarding the war on Iran by America and Israel. But as far as its impact on me and my immediate circle of influence, it doesn't change the fact that gas prices are still through the roof. And of course, I'm not only worried about it for my sake. Even when I was old enough to be aware of what's truly going on in the world, and ever since news started popping up in my social media algorithm feeds many years back, I was already affected by wars going on in different places of the world, and I was especially affected by the war in Ukraine by Russia a few years back. But no one in my immediate circle seemed to talk about it too much because it didn't affect them. And that's the ugly, sad reality about human beings. We only tend to care for something enough if it, to the degree that it affects us. And I was really affected by that war because nothing triggers me more than women and children being SA'd or raped, if you know what I mean, and people being tortured, especially civilians who didn't sign up for this war and aren't actively fighting in the front lines, and yet the soldiers love to victimize these normal everyday people as if they didn't have their own families back home, and they have no empathy for how it would feel if it happened to their families and friends. That really pisses me off, and I don't know anyone personally who is affected by war as much as me. So when the news of the Iran war came, which has been long-standing since the biblical times anyway, back when they were still called Palestine, I'm in no way, shape, or form minimizing it, but I'm also not surprised that it's Israel again who's oppressing them. But it's just at the forefront of this video today because of how it obviously affects our finances. So, as I was saying, I don't have any new update, but it doesn't change anything regarding what I need to do in order to mitigate the ripple effects of this disaster that's happening overseas. And obviously, I am not minimizing what's happening to the victims in the actual places where the attacks are occurring. So, I'm not totally offline. As I said, I do go on YouTube every time I do something else, like wash the dishes, fold the clothes, do the laundry, clean something, cook something, and while I'm eating, even though that's a bit questionable. And today what I learned about was the topics on a YouTube channel called Sergeant Schultz. It just came up on my recommendation because ever since discovering about how our Earth is a luge farm for archons, and if this topic seems foreign to you, don't worry. You don't have to get into the topics that I am into, but I'm just sharing for the sake of telling you what I watched during my time online. I like the interview and podcast format of that channel because I've known about the concept of luge farming and archons for a few months now, but it's just nice to see him interviewing guests on his channel, which exposes me to more books, more perspectives on how to make this your last reincarnation on Earth if that's what you so desire. And that's what I want for myself. I want my current lifetime to be my last. I don't want to come back here for more lessons, because to me that's pointless, especially because you are born as a clean slate each time with your memories of your previous past lives wiped. I've had a few psychic readings before, back when I still had the budget to spend on readings, because they're not cheap. And the ones on YouTube who have a big following charge three figures, like hundreds of dollars, to get a 1 hour session with them. And I don't have that kind of money. The cheapest one I found was a local one here in New Zealand called the Tree Lady. But in all of the psychic readings that I've had done on myself, which isn't much, but it's like you can count it within one hand, they all agree that I'm an old soul, hence the name of my channel. One said I was a starseed. One said that I've been on Earth many times before. And one said that the reason I'm so affected by wars is because I was a soldier in one of my past lives. Not out of trigger happiness, but I just wanted to defend my country or my nation, whatever it was called during the time. But we lost. I probably lost my life in that war. And one of them also said that I used to be a prominent speaker in my tribe or group or whatever, and I got poisoned to death, and whoever poisoned me got away with it. Anyway, regardless of whether any of those are true or not, you know how there are always lists or quizzes online or videos on how to find out if you are an old soul. I almost always tick nearly, well, all of the boxes, except for being psychic, I guess, and having clairvoyance. The thing is, even though I've always been into spirituality and I've invested so much time, money, and energy into courses, into spiritual tools and books over the past few years, I've never had what you would call psychic or supernatural experiences. I just tend to receive downloads or know things intuitively that I feel are true. Ideas come to me. I don't know if you can call that a psychic or supernatural experience, but that's how I know in my heart when something is true or not, without any proof. But I can't see into the future. I can't hear voices that other people don't see, or other people don't hear, or see things that other people can't normally see. I'm just like everyone else in that regard. So my truth now is that this Earth is a prison planet, and the reason why life is set up to be full of suffering with just breaks of happiness in between is because there are higher beings, or lower, depends on how you see it, that profit off our suffering. They profit off our negative energy, and it feeds them. And we are gaslighted and convinced and manipulated to come back here time and time again under the guise of learning new lessons and being a better person in your next reincarnation, as if there is a finish line and an end goal. But there's never enough lessons to learn. You can never finish the cycle, and there's no ceiling as to how high you can ascend. And it's a rigged game. It's a rigged exam. Like, who in their right mind would take lessons on the condition that each time you take a new round, you forget everything that you learned previously? I'm not the only one who thinks that that's stupid and silly and unfair. So I'm not asking you to believe me, but that's where I'm at, and therefore that's what I tend to research and watch on YouTube. That's what holds my interest more than content that, gosh, this car is so slow, what's going on here? More than everyday stuff and the topics that I have grown up with all my life, when I was a normal teenager and 20-year-old, when social media started, trends, more than overconsumption topics, more than minimalism and my other interests. This is what's at the forefront of my mind now, of my studies, and therefore my algorithm. How to escape this reincarnation trap and make sure that this life on Earth will be the last time that I live here. I do not need to come back as a sexier, more beautiful, smarter, richer, more popular woman in my next life. I don't endeavor to be a celebrity with the hottest husband and have the biggest house and nicest car. I don't care for any of that. I just want to learn as much as I can now, enjoy the experiences and things that are within my reach financially and practically and logistically, and I am perfectly content with that. I just want my children to reach legal age and maybe see them in their early 20s, make sure that they're taking good care of themselves, And I don't even care if I don't get to travel the world anymore, which is typically a dream that many people have, many middle class people have who have some extra money to spare. I don't care about that anymore. I just want my dependents to be okay, since I'm responsible for bringing them into this world. And I want to remember the good things about my life, and hopefully I'm treating the people around me well enough for them to have good memories of me when it's my time to go. And I'm not going to look back once it's my time to go. I'm not interested in artificially prolonging my life more than necessary, so long as my kids are, like I said. The best thing that I'm looking forward to is leaving this planet and not coming back to any other prison planet, because there's a school of thought that says Earth is not the only planet that's like this. I don't want my energy to be harvested anymore. I want to stand in my sovereignty and create the reality that I want to create once I exit this body, this meat suit. So that's what I watched during my time online, and the rest of the time I was on my dumb phone. And because of my night shifts, I got disorientated with one of the doctor's appointments of my kids, and I missed that. I apologized. I was just honest about it, and I apologized. I wasn't able to cook anything new for them except the ribs, which they had for dinner. I had leftovers for dinner. My sleep was broken because this morning we went to a car dealer, because for the longest time I've been avoiding upgrading my car because petrol was still affordable. But now, because of this ridiculous war by Donald Trump, we are forced to take out a car loan. Granted, we get approved so that I can switch to an electric vehicle. So we did that after coming off my first night shift last night. And so my sleep today was very broken. And other than helping my daughter with her homework and picking up the kids from school, I really wasn't able to do much else. I was sleeping in between. I probably woke up and slept 3 or 4 times throughout the day once I got home. And I'm back again on my second night shift to do it all over again. And my only consolation for the day that's coming, which is Wednesday morning, is that I don't think there's anything planned. There are no appointments for me to go on to. There are no extra things for me to wake up earlier for. I can just relax and catch up on lost sleep. And I'll probably go to the grocery store tomorrow and buy some more cheese for our bread, and buy cough medicine for one of my kids who has been having cough for a few weeks now. And other than that, I didn't go online. I was happy to be on my dumb phone to just receive calls and make basic calls and send and receive basic text messages. And I downloaded some text files onto my memory card so that I could read on my Nokia 3210. I don't even listen to music that much, and there are some podcast episodes that I've downloaded onto my SD card, which is currently installed in the Nokia 3210. And that's how I use my phone. One of these days I can post a proper video showing you my dumb phone setup. And I just grab my smartphone when I need to do banking, when I need to navigate, use GPS, when I need to answer emails. But all of that are very specific tasks that have a specific beginning and a specific end. And I don't have to constantly be on it. When the task is done, it's done. And when my YouTube timer went off, then that was it. It was off. That was the end of the program for me, so to speak, in reference to back when we used to tune into something on TV, and when the show ended, then that was it. There was no more staying for the rest of the day and watching the next episodes until you finish the entire series. It's what I'm trying to do now with my smartphone. Not totally eliminate it, because I am aware of the fact that in our modern day and age, especially with my role as a mom and a wife, it's near impossible for you to not have a smartphone and to not have any some sort of data. And with that, I am at work now, and I'm gonna sign off. This is my day 2 of quiet quitting, bad news online, and being on my dumb phone. Thanks for listening.